matchup.
Not so much.
It is winnable, but it is difficult.
And the deck has really gotten away from the sort of mana disruptive elements. We've sometimes seen Thalia Heretic Cathar, for example, as a way of trying to slow down Tron's natural draw, but none of that going on here in Gaieski's list this weekend.
Eathan is on 6, and he will start things off with a Noble Hierarch. Alexander has an Expedition map in Urza's power plant. I wonder what the next land's going to be. That's weird. That's weird. It's in Urza's tower to go on with the power plant.
Do you ever get tired of watching the Tron? You
Really?
had a good, yeah, you had
No. This is what it's all about.
a lengthy dalliance with the deck.
It doesn't do anything until turn 3.
I know.
And sometimes the thing it does on turn 3 is embarrassing.
Just not even good.
Yeah. So what are we even talking about? Not a bad start for Eathan if he were on the play. But he's not. So we'll see if Alexander's got something awesome to do. There's Nerves' Mind. Tron online. Ooh, Chromatic Star.
Somewhat good news for Gaieski here. That, although who knows how much he cares about Worm Coil. That actually might be a good play for his curve, depending if he has Reflector Mage or not.
Alexander's going to sacrifice that Chromatic Star for some green mana, I'm sure. That is a Thragtusk.
One in the main.
All right, well, that's problematic. Bit of a roadblock, as it were.
I had to pull up the deck list really fast and just make sure, had we hopped into game 2 or something.
Here comes Mantis Rider in the air, I'm sure. Absolutely. Champion will get a counter. 4 exalted damage in the air. Alexander's going to fall down to 21. But this clock is not fast enough, and Thragtusk is going to go up the works quite a bit. Szostek with a Forest. And does he have a real payoff card? Oh, no. Oh, no. Take care of that Mantis Rider. There's Karn. We'll go back over to Gaieski now. Gonna need a good draw, Human Master.
Thragtusk here playing mode, just giving Alexander all the time in the world here.
Indeed. Mantis Rider. Champion gets a counter. Thalia's Lieutenant. Champion gets 2 counters. Everybody else gets 8 counter. And these are actually really good attacks here for Gaieski, too, because Mantis Rider can take care of Karn. Champion of the Parish, so long as he does his stacking of his triggers correctly and doesn't miss anything, will become a 6/6, which can attack in a Thragtusk. And then, of course, Thalia's Lulu. Well, actually, that's just Thalia, not the Lieutenant. But Thalia's Lieutenant will give Thalia a +1/+1 counter, which means it can win in combat against Thragtusk because of First Strike. So, still all good. Though I am a little surprised not to see other creatures attacking.
Yeah, that seemed like a pretty good spot for both Thalia and Champion of the Parish to get in.
Yeah, it's no risk, and you don't want to play any more turns. We want to play as few turns as possible. I'll say that. There's a Chromatic Star.
And of course, the scary part here from Gaieski's perspective is he has no recourse over Alexander's best cards, and many of them just kind of end the game on the spot. Oblivion Stone or Rugen are both lights out.
You mean like that?
Like that.
Sagasphere. Draw a card. Oh, wow. Thought there was enough mana left there to play and blow. No, I guess
no.
not.
He's at 8 mana right now, and the Thalia, the O-Stone's 8, and then Thalia's involved. So
Gotcha. everybody. Thragtusk's going to block the big champion. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
It's my count.
It's going to be a rough game if the missed damage from the previous turn's no attack ends up coming up in this game.
Yeah, he would have had a block the previous turn and then a chump block this turn, but it might have opened up Gaieski to draw something like Reflector Mage, bounce the token and get another shot in.
There's your Todd Anderson Beast token. Rawr. All right, blow this now. All the things are dead, which means that Alexander probably has something to play post-combat. This is an Ancient Stirrings. Well, there's a Karn in there I saw. Karn will be the choice. There's a Tower of Power. There's a Thought Knot Seer.
3 in the main.
3?
Yeah, he's like playing post-board Tron.
That is a lot of
Yeah,
those.
3.
Wow.
Let's try to see where the cuts got made.
Well, there's got to be no Walking Ballista. Yeah, Ethan's
Correct.
Ethan's face is like, Thought Knot Seer? What is that? Thragtusk? What are those doing in the main deck?
Yeah. It's interesting because normally you want those cards in part to hedge a little bit in matchups where assembling Tron is complicated. You want some 4 and 5 mana plays for, they play Blood Moon, but the game goes on for a long time. They Field of Ruin you get some lands and play Magic, so you want those 4s and 5s. And usually that's not the case game 1. That's like a post-board consideration.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting to have the deck constructed that way.
Can't say I expected that. Let's look at the sideboards that these players are working with, starting with Eathan Gaieski, who has 4 copies of Auriok Champion, 3 Deputy of Attention, 2 Knight of Autumn, 2 Grafdigger's Cage, 2 Dismember, and 2 Chalice of the Void.
So I could be taught into Deputy of Detention and Knight of Autumn as light interaction. And I don't mind Chalice on 1 in this matchup. It cuts off a lot of the cycling and redraw sort of stuff. It's better on the play than on the draw, but obviously there's some spots where you have Chalice for 1 on the second turn. They played a map on the first turn, and it doesn't really do anything. So I don't know how much of that he wants, but probably better than some of his more anti-creature measures.
Other side of things here for Alexander and his Tron deck: 3 Nature's Claim, 2 Walking Ballista, 2 Spatial Contortion, 2 more copies of Thragtusk, 2 Grafdigger's Cage, 2 Surgical Extraction, a Torpor Orb, and a Crucible of Worlds.
I like the Torpor Orb in this matchup. A lot of enter the battlefield triggers. I would imagine the other Thragtusks are going to be coming in along with the Spatial Contortions and the Walking Ballistas.
Well, those are the options for both players. And game number 2 will be underway here in just a moment with Gaieski on the play. Very, very, very important in this matchup. So we'll see if he's able to tie things up and head us to a third and final one here momentarily. In the meantime, I want to talk about some personality tokens here, folks, on the SCG Tour, because we got some sweet ones. We got our friends with Commander Versus. That's, of course, Jeremy Noel, Justin Parnell, Jonathan Suarez, Stephen Green, and Kyle West. They are tokens now, everybody, and their sets of 5 are available in March and April. Now, the ways you can get them: entry into any Star City Games Opener Classic or any StarCityGames.com order of $20 or more. Now, let's go reach one individually here. Justin Parnell always wanted to be a zombie token, so now he is one, so congratulations to Justin. For Jonathan Suarez, he is the only assembly worker token for Urza's Factory, so congratulations, Mr. Suarez. Next up, I don't remember what card this is.
Farchild's War Riders.
That's my bad.
And the previous one we brought up the first time, I did know the assembly worker one.
Yeah.
Do you know why?
Why what?
How I knew that one.
No.
There was 1 copy in a Day 2 Tron list that I registered this morning. And I was like, oh, that's weird. Okay, whatever. And then they came up here and I had the answer.
Fair enough. See, it all comes full circle. Jeremy Knoll going to be doing some gardening. He's making some plant tokens. And then Kyle West, who loves himself homunculus, or homunculi, I suppose, are the plural. He is the director of the show. Those are personality tokens here in March and April. You can, of course, collect your set with entry into any Star City Games Open or Classic or any StarCityGames.com order of $20 or more. And don't forget, you can also get them by participating in Star City Games Invitational qualifiers near you. So go find one of those, because we still got lots of organized play to play in, especially if you want to qualify for the Star City Games Players Championship at the end of the year, like Eathan Gaieski is on pace to do. He's number 6 right now on the SCG Tour leaderboard. In a tough spot right now against Mono Green Tron. Humans can win this matchup, of course, because it can beat anything. And Tron can stumble and fumble, but that did not happen last game.
Did not. Some rares I look at, and I imagine, what if the first pack of Magic the Gathering I had opened contained this as my rare?
Yeah.
Would I have enjoyed it? Would I have kept playing?
Okay.
Right now on my tablet, provided by StarCityGames.com for me to do coverage, I'm looking at Torpor Orb. I'm wondering, had that been my first rare?
Would you have kept playing?
Oh, this is cool. Okay. Creatures entering the battlefield don't cause abilities to trigger. All right, that's a lot of rules verbiage in the text box of that card, and I don't know what that means.
Looks like Alexander's gone a little lower as well. Gaieski is going even lower. And certainly seems frustrated to do so at this stage of things. Both these players 11-2 here. Playing for a lot this weekend here in Philadelphia. A lot of prizes on the line, a lot of SCG points on the line as well. With $5,000 for the winner walking out of here at the Valley Forge Casino and Resort. And I mean,
walking upstairs with
yeah,
$5,000
to the roulette table, as it were. 30 SCG points, an invite to our Season 1 Invitational. Second place, $2,000, 25 SCG points, invite to that Season 1 Invitational. The Berglund Center in Roanoke, Virginia, and SCG Con Summer, of which we've unveiled all the details, so you can head over to StarCityGames.com and learn more about that, as Alexander has a Tower of Power and an Expedition map. This is a Kite Sail freebooter. All right, you see a hand here. Forest, O-Stone, Torpor Orb, Ghost Quarter. So if you're Eathan, you say, okay, no second Tron piece.
And nothing that, no impactful second card here.
Yep.
So as far as the hand can look, this is about as good as it's going to get from Gaieski's perspective.
It'll be time to snag that O-Stone here and say, let's keep this rolling. Might be able to beat a Torpor Orb. Though Humans does, of course, have a lot of enters the battlefield abilities. Thalia's Lieutenant, Reflector Mage. Went with the Torpor Orb.
Could mean following up with a second freebooter or a Meddling Mage or some such.
Alexander will draw. Forest pass the turn back. Gaieski will draw. Picked up a copy of Horizon Canopy. Here's an attack for 2. The follow-up is a Meddling Mage. I imagine that's aiming Oblivion Stone.
Yep. And it makes sense to sequence the way that he's sequenced here, because you would kind of want Meddling Mage on Oblivion Stone for long-term implications anyway. So you get the Torpor Orb out of the hand, and that happens before the Torpor Orb can be cast. And now you have the Meddling Mage out in front of the O-Stone, and you have cover against future Oblivion Stones as well.
Yep. So the players make sure everything is confirmed and good to roll. Meddling Mage is coming down. Of course, we've got confirmation it's naming Oblivion Stone. So there we go. Now what Eathan needs is to speed up this clock a little bit. A Mantis Rider or a Thalia's Lieutenant is what he needs now to close out this game. Yeah,
Alexander a little bit off balance here. But Gaieski not putting on all the pressure in the world here. And as is usually the case, only a few draw steps away from being able to do something pretty major.
Ghost, ooh. A little surprised at that land being the play that turn instead of the Urza's power plant that was searched up. So we head back over to Gaieski.
Well, if he doesn't have another Tron piece in hand or a big play to make, it doesn't really. There's no way for it to be to disrupt him at all, because he only gets one draw step a turn, and it's either the missing Tron piece or the big play. It can't be both.
Yeah, I guess the problem I have with this is I don't know what you're activating Ghost Quarter on, because you're also setting yourself back a land drop by doing that.
Yeah, I'm not sure what is to be gained by playing the Ghost Quarter, but I don't think it costs anything.
Sure. Here comes Meddling Mage for 3 because of the Exalted trigger.
Other than it reveals the information, if, Gaieski's on the ball about this, that Alexander has not drawn a big play. Mm-hmm. Because if you had drawn something major, you would obviously play the second Tron piece with the hopes of top decking the third one the following turn.
Now, things get interesting here, too, because Gaieski has a copy of... Well, I guess he can't play the Reflector Mage that's in hand. And I'm not sure what else he can cast if he wants to cast something. But seeing that Thought Knot Seer in Game 1 main deck might be influencing his play a little bit. And I think that's going to make this game a little bit interesting. The name this time was Walking Ballista. There's the Urza's power plant. I'm just going to pass the turn back. Sacrifice another Horizon Canopy. Here's an attack for 5. So we've got one mage naming Oblivion Stone, one mage naming Walking Ballista. We've got a Tron player who is not doing Tron things, though. Oh, that's a tower. That is not a mine.
And no Thratusk, no Thought Knot Seer.
Nope. That's a Mantis Rider. So this will be an attack for 8. Is there a Spatial Contortion or anything?
I think we would have seen any of that stuff a while ago.
Yeah. Looks like Alexander falls down to 1, draws a card. Sylvan Scrying, perhaps?
Sylvan Scrying certainly plays here.
That'll be a Chromatic Star. Nature's Claim It.
So he still gets the draw.
And gets the 4 life to hopefully peel into a mine to be able to do something that matters. Dead. Fascinating game.
A lot of magic. Lot of magic. That's not entirely fair, because I think Gaieski's choices with both Meddling Mage and what to do with the Phantasmal Image is where a lot of the decision-making emerges. From Alexander's side, he kind of just does his thing. There's not a whole lot of maneuvering to be done.
Gaieski going back to his sideboard a little bit here. Szostek as well. We'll see if they do change anything up. Doesn't seem like a lot of moving pieces at this stage for either player, though. Just some things to think about. This is a good matchup for Tron traditionally, but this is very much a play-draw dependent matchup for both sides.
Yes. A lot of Tron's matchups are like that, because just having the thing on when you're out in front on the third turn, so much more powerful than being behind, and it makes it much more likely that your opponent has the opportunity to answer it. For example, you play a Worm Coil on turn 3, your opponent gets to have more of a battlefield and then potentially Reflector Mage it, and that's different on player draw. Whether or not your Karn resolves, it's going to be partially a function of whether or not you're the player of the draw.
Yeah.
So.
Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy.
Not real. I mean, the format just is not that long on ways to reliably break serve. And because of that, a lot of matchups are going to be really play draw oriented. A lot of the mono red matchups that I've played over the years, you elect to take the draw because everything just trades off and, et cetera, et cetera. Not in modern. It's over too fast. You can't, extract an extra card and win the game that way. It doesn't work that way.
Well, yesterday we saw a Death Shadow player go on the draw.
Yeah, get trucked.
Yeah,
died on the third turn.
Yeah, took the draw in the mirror and got trucked. Yeah, that did happen, actually.
I think it's fine to take the draw in that matchup, but it's not like a reliable path to be, ahead.
Yeah.
By any means.
Well, these players are going to get ready here for game number 3. Todd Anderson hanging out back there with the life pad. He'll be back in the booth next round to bring us home in round number 15, where players will be playing for top 8, of course. But for now, let's talk about SCG Game Night.
Talk about it.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about organized play and how there's a lack of it in Magic, but we're still bringing it on the local level.
Anyway, head over to go.sarcyggames.com/game night to find more information. Every month, Sarcy Game comes out with tokens and sleeves that are sent to the store that are signed up for game night, and then stores can run game night however they want to, any day of the week, any format. Just get players in the store for some fun and friendly Magic. We have the March kit displayed in front of you. Vendi, VD, Armadisi. Again, go.sarcyggames.com/game night. Find the game night closest to you, and stores, if you want to get signed up for game night, contact your Starcy Games in-store player representative.
Yo, Todd, how's our backup match look? It was fast. That's what I like to hear. Hungry. What are we getting for dinner tonight, big guy?
Not where we went yesterday.
Here's an expedition map. That was not on me, by the way, for once.
I swear, I grew up someplace where the food's incredible and you just go over the state line and it becomes a catastrophe.
Yeah. Life comes at you fast. Champion of the parish is plural.
This game is shaping up to be extremely cool.
Yeah. Expedition map's going to find hers is mine. We're going to see how cool it is.
Yeah, this is going to be just a super cool game. Not to spoil anything.
Yeah.
But
because we don't know what's going to happen.
Right. It could be anything.
Yeah. Just some fun and friendly gameplay. 7 mana. 3. All right, down to
could be worse.
2 floating.
Could be worse.
I'd be thrilled if I was Eathan right now. Green mana floating and along with the colorless. Stirrings. Brick, 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 brick. That's never happened.
It's really hard.
Never happened. Here's Karn. Can't play it this turn, though.
Yeah, Gaieski draws a land. You can play through a Karn. You can get enough of a battlefield.
All right, another star. Next up, Spatial Contortion. Kill that. All right.
Like not trying to get too fancy here.
I mean, if Gaieski draw, oh boy.
That ain't it.
We're done. We're done. Another Spatial Contortion. Yeah, we are.
Get that Seachrome Coast. Seachrome Coast.
Boom! Done for.
Extremely cool.
Alexander Szostek is going to win this match over Eathan Gaieski. 2-1. Mono Green Tron.